It is so important to know that you can get healthier with personalized functional medicine. So, what does that mean? How can you get healthier when your wellness journey has a plan and a protocol that is based on exactly what you need, what vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you are deficient in or insufficient, what kind of environmental stressors are happening to your system, to your body, and what is going on in these causes of aging. And that is what is so important. You can reverse and prevent chronic disease. This is what we're going to talk about today. How can you be preventative and proactive? Because we know in the science and in the research, there are these contributors to aging, these root causes that create aging and causes aging to happen more rapidly. We know there's chronological versus biological aging. There's just a number, but then there's how you feel. So how do we get to these root causes of aging? And how do we help people with functional medicine? First of all, it has to be very personalized. Yes, there are important biomarkers of aging, but how does that apply to each unique person? The trajectory, where are they going with these biomarkers? Where have they been? And what is the goal of these biomarkers? So, today we're going to talk about many of these underlying contributors, one of which is oxidative stress. That's where the mitochondria comes into play. It is so important to really assess and understand how your mitochondria is functioning, because that is how you take your food, the fats, the protein, and carbohydrates, and turn it into ATP energy. That process requires these nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. And it's so important that when there are these environmental toxins, and toxins can come from many different sources, pesticides, the water that we're drinking, because many of the plastics, pesticides come into the water, and many of these chemicals are breathed from the air because they turn into these what they call volatile organic compounds. They become more of an air type of chemical that we can breathe in, and that actually gets into our hormones. And that's why it's so important to understand that the air we're breathing also stresses our detoxification system. So oxidative stress, now that plays into our mitochondria, is a very important process to optimize, and we have to use very advanced testing. Some of it can be blood testing, some of it can be urine testing, but you have to know how to interpret it, know how to individualize it, and then make a protocol to improve and optimize the mitochondria, which means we're going to lower oxidative stress, oxidation. Number two, the other system that we want to improve is the whole what they call AGEs, advanced glycation end products. That's called glycation when the cells kind of get caramelized from having too much sugar and the wrong kind of fats. That combination, what they call browns the cell, caramelizes the cell, and actually ages the cell quicker. So we really want to get to this whole balance of insulin, cortisol, and blood sugars. That requires optimal nutrients and fats, understanding that it's not just calories in and calories out. The right foods, the right fats and proteins and carbs in the right ratio can really improve this process known as glycation or AGEs, advanced glycation end products. It's a very important concept to really know, but also to optimize, to make sure that we're getting the communication, because quite often this happens from a communication with our brain to our fat cells, the adipocytes. So we really want to get that optimized. The next process that we really want to optimize is detoxification. That occurs in the liver, and quite often there are medications that tax that really make the liver work harder. We don't really have the three processes in the liver: phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, which includes the gut. And this is how we detoxify. It's not just about fasting or we're taking certain foods that help with detoxification. It's improving the three phases of the liver detoxification system through the processes that we know in the science that that really occurs in these three phases. So there are certain foods, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids in each of these phases that we can now improve and optimize. And that helps us to remove chemicals and hormones that are in excess. We get a lot of estrogens from the environment. They're called xenoestrogens. They come from pesticides, plastics like Teflon or nonstick chemicals that come into our water supply, come into our food supply, and then it acts as these fake hormones in our body. We need to remove them through the liver detoxification system. The next system is the gut that we really need to optimize. And that is something we really focus in on. We use advanced testing to make sure we have sufficient and optimal numbers of those good bacteria that produce these important metabolites like butyrate. And we want to make sure those keystone species are there in abundant amounts. We also don't want an overgrowth of bacteria or yeast or parasites that are normally in our gut. But when they overgrow, they become problematic. They use our nutrients. They also affect the neurotransmitters in the gut. That's our mood. And so there's that gut brain connection. We really want to optimize digestion with enzymes and proper digestion of fats so we get the fat soluble nutrients and vitamins. So gut health is extremely important in optimizing health. And then we have optimizing hormones. Quite often hormones are just subpar, not really optimal. So we help with that communication with the hormones by improving the fats, improving vitamins and minerals. And that way we optimize the thyroid, the adrenal glands, and sex hormones, and all the different neurotransmitters as well to balance that and to really get a person to be proactive with their health and preventative, because many of these chronic diseases are preventative and reversible. So these are many of the contributors of aging that we optimize, and that functional medicine really does help to be proactive and reverse and prevent these chronic diseases. So everyone, if you have any questions, you can make a discovery call on our website below, and any questions you could leave in any comments on our social media, and we will be happy to help. So everyone have a healthy, happy day.